Hello and welcome to Mabinda TV. So for now, I like to look at some of the top issues, and one of the top issues is about Eric Latiff leaving Spice FM for a Nation FM. Then CMC Motors closes down to retrench employees. So many companies are leaving Kenya, and then what Ghana's and Namibia elections can teach us about the power of incumbency, as incumbent parties, one incumbent party was defeated, but in the other the opposition won. And then how do we, in ideas, how do we promote science journalism? That is, in ideas, how do we promote science journalism? And then in making America, who will be the next leader of the Democratic Party? That is, who will be the next leader of the Democratic Party? So basically, Eric Latiff has left Spice FM for Nation FM. So basically, what then is going to be the future of urban radio? So basically, remember, urban mainstream media has come under a lot of strain. So basically, people are consuming news through social media, and of course, urban radio is the one that is likely to be hit the most. Of course, rural media, at least for rural stations such as Radio Citizen, Radio Jambo, Radio Maisha, Milele, and Radio 47, they still are going to be rolling the hours because a lot of rural folks cannot afford the internet bundles to be able to stream content. So basically, it is the urban media that will be hit hard because urban media we urban people have alternatives. So long as they have bundles, then they can stream into other channels in order to either watch or stream music. And I think the future of urban radio is in a talk show. I think talk radio is the future of urban radio because I think we can stream music. We can stream music on such platforms as Spotify, YouTube, or even Boomplay. So we can stream music through urban channels, through the various music hosting platforms. But then, of course, talk radio, and I don't know why Spice FM stopped at only 10 a.m. I think it should have gone all the way to be a 24-hour talk radio. So basically, now Eric Latiff is going to compete with the likes of Jeff Koinange. Remember, Jeff Koinange is the highest paid journalist at about 2 million shillings a month. He earns even more than the editorial director. He earns, that is Jeff Koinange, more than editorial director, that is Linus Kaikai. Remember, in the media space, you can't be paid higher than the boss. So Jeff Koinange gets paid higher than his boss, that is the Linus Kaikai. So basically, you have Jeff Koinange going to earn 2 million shillings per year. So basically, I think urban radio. I think urban radio has some key future, but I think it needs to be on commentating. Look at the way American talk radio has come of age. It has merged with podcasting, and I think that's how talk radio in Kenya is going to emerge. It is if it merges with broadcasting, and then I think podcasting. Then I think it's going to have a very nice time. Look at Dan Bongino. Look at basically Brian Kilmer. Look at Brian Russ show. Basically, urban radio in America is all about commentating, and I think a lot of talk radio people that listen to talk radio have a lot of spending power. Remember, the demographics that advertisers usually are most interested in is between 24 to 55 years because this is when they have the highest spending power, that is between 24 to 55 years of age. So basically, I think when you have talk radio, I think that will be the future of Kenyan radio. And I think for Eric Latiff, then it's all about how will he manage that? How will he be able to compete with the likes of Jeff Koinange, the likes of Maina Kageni? I think for the most part, Maina Kageni and Mwalimu Kingange, at least it is mostly women who are the audiences, and of course for women they like soft content, and I think they like soft content. Remember about the telenovelas, so women basically like telenovelas. That's why online couple show in Kenya is very much attracts lots of viewers. That is online couple shows such as Nicholas Kioko and Wambo Ashley, commentator and Maureen Gigi, the Rui family, and of course Casey and Biko. It attracts a lot of audience that is online couples, and I think for a lot of women they like telenovelas, they like stories about romance, love and romance. That's why I think then urban radio, that's why classic FM gets to make lots of money. I think maybe it has activations of about 50 million shillings per month. That's why Maina Kageni is paid more than maybe more than 1.5 million shillings a month. So basically urban radio is going to be about talk radio, it's going to be about commentating, merging with podcasting, and I think that's how urban radio is going to emerge fully digitized. That is, we want opinions. And remember, the former Nation Media Group CEO Linus Gatahi said that the media should be selling as insights. That is, the former Nation Media Group CEO Linus Gitahi said that the media should be selling as insights because we are choking in tons of information. That's just it. We are choking in tons of information, and making sense of the data is where the money is. That's just it. Making sense of the data is where the money is, and I think if we can make urban radio be all about insights, I think that's the way we are going to have basically we are going to solve the deep issues of the day, not just about politics but about issues of science, issues about business, issues about the general even what they will call human interest stories. It is not just about politics when you say you're going to address deep issues of the day. It is also about some of the other things, such as maybe some of the other things maybe that are not so political. So of course we are not ideological society. So basically I think I agree quite much with Linus Gitahi that the media should be selling as insights and not really selling as the media should be selling as insights and not really and really not regurgitating what was there in the previous days. So that's the future of urban radio. What do you think is the future of urban radio? So Eric Latiff, going to Nation FM. Remember, Nation FM had been closed between 2016 and 2021 because they tried this idea before Space FM, Nation FM, but they didn't bring in a host that will do a thorough job. So they didn't bring in hosts that will do a thorough job. So basically, it is all about, and they didn't bring in hosts that will do a thorough job, and that's why then urban radio is all about, and that's why then urban radio is all about. That is all about commentating on the deep, and I think the middle class has really some disposable power. So basically this is a very good demographic. Look at Capital FM at some high point, not when I think it was under Linda Holt. Capital FM had just 2% of the audience, but they used to have advertisements of Kenya Airways, advertisement of high-end sprays, high-end fragrance, and so I think it doesn't matter that you can't have so many people, but so long as they have deep pockets. Look at Wall Street Journal. It is able to rack up online subscriptions because the average net worth of someone that hits the Wall Street Journal is about $7 million. That's the average net worth of someone that reads the Wall Street Journal. So basically, it's all about what's the disposable income of the audience. And so very clearly, I think people really that were bored of the Maina Kageni and Mwalimu Koinange show, I think they found a space in Space FM, and so I think they will move over maybe to Nation FM, where he will bring his guests again. And of course then he is a newsman, he's a pounding man. Of course he's not a commentator, but I would think that maybe he will find the likes of Ndu Oko and City Muga being able to have the deep issues of the day. So that then is how urban media is going to resuscitate. And I think why not have 8 opinion columns every day, because remember, news has been broken by social media. So maybe we need 8 opinion columns per day. So right now there are only 2 opinion columns, so we need about and then about 4 or 6 on the weekend, but we need at least 8 every day. That's how we are going to be able to maybe bring the middle class along, so that then they can subscribe. And that is why Kenyan newspapers are having a hard time getting subscribers. So that's it about Eric Latiff. Moving over to National FM, it's going to be something that we are going to closely monitor. And then another top story: CMC Motors closes down to the 20 employees. So again, companies are leaving Kenya. Companies are leaving. Why? Because the high cost of doing business, the cost of power, high taxation. So basically, these are people that were paying taxes. So you see, this is all about the mismanaged economy under the Ruto regime. This is the mismanaged economy. Companies are leaving basically because the cost of doing business is high. Companies are retrenching employees. So these employees were paying income tax. So how will they be able to survive? So basically, it's about CMC and not having, I think, having very high taxation and high cost of electricity. So you can see very much. The other day, Cadbury left, Cadbury chocolate. So Cadbury will just maintain a small marketing office in Kenya, and then the manufacturing will take place in South Africa. So you can see that engineers and technicians that were getting salaries in these companies will no longer be able to afford to be getting salaries. They have been retrenched. That is why it is of essence that we create the right enabling environment. You cannot tax your way to prosperity. Essentially, you cannot tax your way to prosperity. This is why I would say you cannot tax your way to prosperity. This is why I would say that we need to be able to have tax policies. You increase the tax bracket, you don't overtax people, you increase the tax bracket, and that's by creating an enabling environment in which businesses can thrive, and maybe even doing a tax, having companies that can having companies that basically can have tax rebates. So when you have tax rebates, then companies exempted from paying taxes for maybe 2 to 3 years as they get steady. And I think if you do that, then there will be more jobs created, more people will come under the tax bracket, and that is how you get prosperity. Of course, William Ruto says he wants to tax. That's why Kenyans call him Zakayo. But how do you tax your way to prosperity? It hasn't happened anywhere. No country in the world has ever developed by overtaxing its people, and that is where President Ruto seems to go wrong. You can't overtax your people to prosperity. So that is something I think we need basically to look very much into. That is, you cannot tax your way to prosperity, and I think if we do that, then Kenya will go a long way in towards that is, there will be no jobs created. And remember, you have millions upon millions of graduates flowing onto the job market. You have millions upon millions of job seekers flowing onto the job market of that is graduates flowing onto the job market, but you have no jobs for them. So basically, how are you going to assure them that they will get jobs on graduation? So basically, I think that is a flawed, that is basically flawed, and I think we need to be able to we need to be able to create the enabling environment for businesses. Of course, people that are in politics, I think you have in Kenya, the way to make money is simply by joining politics. In Africa, the way to make money is by joining politics. These people have never produced anything at all. They have never produced anything. These politicians, they don't have a product they invented. They don't have a service they invented. It is all about taking public money and running with it, taking public money and converting into their personal bank accounts. Look at William Kabogo being valued at 3.01 billion shillings. Basically, this is someone that has been in politics all through. William Ruto has never held a job outside of politics. I just think that this is a country where to be, this is Africa, where to be rich, you just have to join politics. And what does that money help them? It just goes on to look at former President Moi. He used to steal a lot of money, but look, where's that money now? It is just in some self-tax havens abroad. So basically, I just think that the way to be making money in Africa should be through a creative genius trick, a rare talent, a rare skill, a rare talent, rare gifts. That's how you want to be making money. You've not invented anything, and yet you are worth 3 billion shillings. So where does that money come from? So basically, I just think our priorities are wrong. We don't invest in the deep issues of the day, and this is why. And then I would hope that we have a country, that at least we have a country that can we have a country of meritocracy where people get it through the creative genius trick, through hard work, through talent. Right now, if you tell any Kenyan, if you tell any African that you can't be rich with only hard work and talent, they will look at you with a blank face, a stare, basically wondering which part of the world do you come from, because politicians naturally in Africa are the ones who are the richest people. Look at when Forbes magazine lists Aliko Dangote as Africa's richest man, they just haven't done their homework. That's just the fact. When Forbes magazine lists Aliko Dangote as Africa's richest man, they just haven't done their homework. The richest men in Africa are politicians, and not even at the presidential level, even at the governor or a provincial commissioner level, even at the governor, even at that level. That is how people in Africa get hit. So businesses are suffering because politicians are not producing any waste, and they are storing this money in self-tax havens. Of course, I will not go as far as to say that the president of Liberia, Joseph Boakai, who said that the rich, those who steal money, corruption money, should be used to help the poor, and then they will be forgiven. No, I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying that in Africa, for you to get money, and then you just have to steal. If you are going to invent a product in Africa, then basically you are going to be poor very much for the rest of your life, and that is not how we are going to that is not the way to be able to build a society in Kenya. So basically, we are having people that are rich not because of their hard work, but because of not because of their talent, not because of their creative genius trick, but because they have stolen public money and used it to enrich themselves. And that's how the African miracle story becomes a deferred dream. That's how the African miracle story becomes a deferred dream. Then, in Africa perspectives, what are we looking? We are looking at the first president, female president in Namibia, that is Netundo. Nandi and Ndaitwa, Netundo Nandi Ndaitwa. So she is going to be the first woman president of Namibia. So basically, that's a barrier breaking. A glass ceiling has been broken. So even as America does not elect Kamala Harris as the first woman president, but you have in Namibia, they have elected a woman president. So that hopefully means that we can take the talents of half the population. So now she joins Tanzania, Samia Suluhu, as the only two female presidents in Africa. But then, of course, that has been a long time coming in order to encourage more women into leadership. Because remember, women face more barriers in leadership than men, because a lot of people think we live in patriarchal society. We live in patriarchal society where women are thought to be inferior, and maybe their own work is in the kitchen. So basically, even for women to achieve career growth, to be CEOs, to be president is not something that was thinkable just a few years ago, just a decade ago. It was not thinkable for a woman to be president of a country. So you had President Salif Johnson. I think she was the first woman president of Africa, President Salif Johnson, and then of course you have President Joyce Banda of Malawi. Of course, she was not re-elected. Then you have President Samia Suluhu, and now, of course, Ethiopia also has a woman president, but it is not an executive powerful role because Ethiopia has a parliamentary system. So basically, in Ethiopia, it is the prime minister who has the executive authority, while the president is ceremonial. And then, of course, you have in Namibia now Nandi and Nandi in Tundo Nandi Ndaito, and of course then in Ghana you have a female president, vice president. So I think women have made a lot of strides, and that is why I think women should not be leaning in. Basically, the writer of this book, that is Sheryl Sandberg, wrote a book, Lean In, why women should lean into male patriarchal spaces. But I don't think women should lean in. Women can lead with authentic female kind of leadership, of collaboration. Let that not softness be a kind of a liability for women. Let it not be a liability. Women can lead with soft skills. That is a collaboration, bringing everyone on board. Those are the skills women are known for. So let it not be some kind of a discouraging power. So basically, that's it about African women making the strides, so that now Namibia will be having its first female president. And then in ideas, how can we promote science journalism? In ideas, how can we promote science journalism? At any point, there has never been a point where basically there have been so many inventions: the mobile phone, the internet, the internet, the radio, TV. They are all scientific inventions. But then why don't it is celebrities that are made famous by these scientific innovations, but then it is celebrities that dumb down hard on science. So basically, they don't get to. The celebrities are dumbing down science. So how do we promote science journalism? Part of it maybe is in making science journalists to learn maybe creative writing, so that then they can project scientific ideas. Because remember, the number one reason why sex sells is not so much for its pleasure, but for that everyone has an opinion about sex, from the grade 2 dropout to the high flying kindergarten, to the high flying grade, from the grade 2 dropout to the high flying doctorate holder. And maybe the issues of science, maybe we need to break it down to digestible bits, so that then you can have science journalists, people really taking up science news. And I think science has affected so much, but we don't just look at renewable energy. We just don't know much about it. And I think if more people are interested in science, then we will have more people solving the deep issues of the day, and that's how the society gets to progress. So I think right now we've dumped down on science journalism so much, and I don't think it is a good prospect at all. So how do you think we can develop science journalism? So you let me know in the comment section. And then in another in the Making America, who will be the next leader of the Democrats? In the Making America, who would be the next leader of the Democrats? Because remember, Barack Obama is no longer there. Joe Biden is buying out in 2 days' time, and so basically, who will be the next leader of the Democrats? This is something that we must ask ourselves. And I think the next leader of the Democrats must be able to match talent, basically must be able to be someone that will inspire Americans. I think Democrats have served both the billionaire class and the working class, and they have found it is unpalatable to serve both the billionaire class and the working class. So basically, I think the next leader of the Democrats must be someone that caters to the working class, return the fortunes of the working class. More Americans are falling by the wayside, and I think you heard the labor unions. They never endorsed any candidate because they thought that they never endorsed any candidates because and that was a win for Donald Trump. So basically, we need to have science journalists, and we need to have a democratic leader, the next democratic leader embracing the working class. Look at the Republican Party now; they are the working party of the downtrodden, and I don't think that augurs well for the Democratic Party. Maybe it will be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We just don't know. I think she belongs to the progressive wing of the Democrats. But cast the net wider, look into not just the national politics but also state and local politics to get the next leader of the Democratic Party, who will be a Bill Clinton, who will be a Barack Obama. Remember, in 2004, Barack Obama was a mere state senator of Illinois, and of course, then he was given a chance by the John Kerry campaign to be the keynote speaker of the DNC, Democratic National Convention. Then that's the speech that made Obama. That's how the world came to know of Obama, and basically that's how he became the president of the United States. So cast the net wider, concentrate on state and local politics, not necessarily national politics. That's where the next leader of the Democrats is going to be from. So bye for now, till the next time. Bye for now.